Primarily, what we're seeing is that anyone who's in on a 2 or 3% mortgage, staying put. They don't want to give that up and risk having to go 7-8% right now, and it makes sense.
Totally.
The past couple of years, even before the rates popped up, sellers were sitting on the sidelines because they didn't have any inventory. And that stemmed from COVID. So COVID kind of started this whole weird process that led to sellers not necessarily selling because they were afraid. Buyers still needed to buy, so it created this inventory crunch. Then sellers were afraid to sell because there wasn't any inventory. So if I sell, what if I can't buy?
Right.
We heard stories about that happened in California where sellers were squatting literally in their own homes that they sold because they had no place to buy.
Oh, my goodness.
And then the interest rates shot up. And now sellers are like, I don't want to give up my rate.
Right.
I wouldn't sell right now to give up my rate. But if I had to sell and I had to move or I needed a bigger place, you've got no choice.
Yeah.
And that's what's creating the buyers that we have right now. We're seeing a lot of buyers coming in from out of area and out of state. So we're seeing New York, we're seeing California, we're seeing Chicago coming into the area more so than we have in the past.
And even on a level, even maybe a little bit longer ago than that, is the lack of new builds in our area.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, in Florida, Lennar is putting up subdivisions everywhere you look. In fact, on the beach one day, so it would have been on Saturday, there's an airplane flying with like a tagline behind it, an advertisement. We're looking down the beach. We're like, oh, I wonder what this, usually it's, some bar or Ron John surf shop or something like. No, it was Lennar's homes for sale in the mid 200s. They literally are flying an advertisement on the beach behind an airplane. They're putting up houses everywhere. Here, that's not the case. I think the construction costs, the material labor costs here are just so much more.
The regulations,
absolutely. So they're not. We're simply. At least in Illinois, they're not building enough homes to meet that demand. And the ones they are building are selling like hotcakes.
And I don't know if you guys saw this, but the Forest Preserve announced that they're going to be going for a referendum this year to buy more land. They want to borrow an additional $155 million to acquire more land, do more habitat restoration. And the last time they did that was 2008, and the public approved, with about 60% margin, they approved a $185 million acquisition plan. But that was in 2008, and that was when prices were really, really starting to decline, and most of that money they had to spend went to buy cheaper properties that were being progressively cheaper.